Look at that. What a beautiful evening in downtown Shreveport, which is across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. You come check us out. But in the meantime, I've got chicken to fry. Okay, I'm CJ Miller, aka your friend known as the Impetuous Chef. uh, Known to me as the Impetuous Chef. Okay, so I've made some videos earlier in the day of me prepping this chicken with my recipe. Basically, the seasoning is it's pretty standard. It's not too extravagant, but I used a lot of it. A lot of seasoning in the chicken, and then I rolled the chicken around in flour and let it sit up. And then, of course, what's on top of this is just basically the excess seasoning. So check those out. The earlier videos in this particular series. I'm going to number them. I posted a few of them, but I'm going to go back and just retro title them so we'll know that it's associated. But yeah, they're going to come back to back on this channel. Basically, what I've done here is I've taken four whole eggs, grade A eggs, whatever, and whisk them in about a quart of whole milk, roughly the amount that you would want to start with if you were going to do like a custard. But we're not making a custard or a pudding or anything. We're actually just flouring the chicken. Then we're going to coat this chicken. We'll get us a couple of pieces going. And as you can see, as we put the chicken in the egg wash, some of this seasoning is going to come off, going to wash off. That's why I've used so many seasonings. And then there's actually, to start with, in this dredging flour, there's no seasoning added. It's just all-purpose flour. You can use other types of flour, self-rising or whatever. This is all-purpose, I should say. Not self-rising, it's all-purpose. But all-purpose does not contain anything like salt or anything like that additional. But self-rising contains per cup about a tablespoon and a quarter of baking powder, which has additional sodium and also roughly a quarter teaspoon of salt per cup added. So let's be aware of that. So I'm going to take this, come right over here to the stove where I've got lots of oil, very, very warmed up, ready to go. I know that it's warm enough because there's your seasoning. It's hot, I should say. Hot. Be careful, do not splatter, burn your fingers. A couple of pieces at a time. So we'll frequently be adding fresh oil to this pot, but we don't want to overcrowd. And I've got a tray set up with some absorbent materials ready to absorb this whenever it comes out. I'm going to pause the video and I'll show you what this looks like when we're done. By the way, see how quickly this crusted up? That means that this oil, once it crusts like this, then what I can do is put the lid back on. I need to reduce the heat. When you're frying, you have to pay attention to the heat of your oil. It's going to go up and down throughout the process. When you take hot food out, you're going to lose temperature, that type of stuff. All right, so we can see here that I've already got the next couple of pieces ready to go. Whenever I get ready to take these pieces out, I'm going to put them on my tray that I have covered with paper plates and coffee filters. Anything that I feel is absorbent that's going to help absorb. I don't care for the use of paper napkins or paper towels with really, really hot chicken. Sometimes those materials will cling to the chicken. So, be careful about that. But, if need be, anytime I get low on my egg wash, I could add more egg and milk, and I will not run low on the chicken. But anytime I need to, I can put more flour into the dredging pan here that I'm using. Okay, probably about 5 or 6 minutes on each side, starting out at high heat when we crust over. Then we can watch it and turn it as we need to. Each time we lift the lid off that, though, we're going to lose some heat. So whenever we work, come on, over here. So just whenever we work and we're lifting these lids to turn, when we want to turn it, each time we do that, we're going to lose some of the heat that's inside. So I want to be aware of that. If it helps, you know, we can set an alarm 5 or 6 minutes per side. You know, smaller pieces are going to get done faster. That's the chicken legs and the breast. I mean the wings. I'm not. Oh my God, what am I cooking here? The legs are going to cook faster. The thighs are going to cook a little bit slower. I mean, a little bit slower because they're big. I'm doing a one process cooking. Some people do a 2 process cooking, and that's where they fry the crispiness on the outside, the crisp crunchiness, and then they take it and they'll put it in a covered dish and they'll bake it and they'll finish the cooking process in the oven. That's what some people do sometimes when they're at home, especially when they don't have like a pressure cooker. I don't have a pressure cooker. As a matter of fact, this lid here means that this means that pressure is going to get released, you know, steam or whatever. But I still cook with very, very hot oil. As a matter of fact, I would never dream of using a paper drainage system sitting on top of my stovetop, except I'm using an electric stove and only one of the eyes is on, and but certainly never do this with a gas stove. So we got a little scorchy on the bottom of this particular when I turned the thigh over, which let me know when I first put this in, when I put these first 2 pieces in, my oil was a little bit too hot. I won't mind that so much because it's not horrifically bad. It's not horrifically bad. It's not bad at all, actually. Because I caught it and I adjusted the temperature. You know, with frying, you really are going to be turning your the temperature of your oils or your fats, whatever you're frying in. You're really going to be turning it up and down as you cook. You know. And here we have these first 2 pieces of chicken that were taken out, realizing, and it's cool, that the color when I first put them in, it got a little bit dark, a little bit. So my grease was just a little bit too hot. That's okay. I know to reduce the temperature. I want to bring my oil back up to temperature. This is your grease, your fat, whatever you're frying in. I want to bring it back up to temperature, but not as high as it was when I put those in. Because this is not a basket fryer, a deep fryer where they're floating in a basket, not touching the bottom. They are actually touching the bottom of my pan and potentially had the potential to scorch. I want to reduce that, so I'm going to turn my oils down a little bit. But I've got some other chicken ready to go. Please forgive, I do have a dishwasher going on behind me. I have here 3 pieces of chicken ready to go. It's still sizzling, but that is sizzling a lot less than the first batch when I put it in. I can let this kind of sit and sear that first piece for a second. I'll know when it's ready to add another piece, when it's kind of moving around on the bottom, and it kind of sort of is. I want to make sure that the chicken pieces I'm working with are well coated with this second coating. And then I'm going to take this third piece, another thigh, lay it in the oil, cover it up. Watch, and you know what else can help me? My hearing. Yes, your ear in the kitchen, sitting over this. When this starts to, the juices and the oils, the juices start to leak into the oil, it's going to cause even more of a bubbling sensation. You'll hear it start to crackle more. And that would be your cue to come over and maybe turn the oil down just a little bit. We want to keep this, yes, we want to keep it hot, but we want to keep it hot, but not scorching hot. We don't want it, we want this to cook through. A good chicken, these are good sized chicken. They're probably going to go 4 to 5 minutes on each side to cook thoroughly, and that's why we want to go a little bit lower on the heat. Not low though, because the chicken will not really cook. I kind of had a lesson last night. I braised a brisket, and it came out fine, but it didn't get that really, that brown brisket flavor, because when I was ready to eat it, I did not turn the heat up, and I was ready to serve it, and I cut into it, and though it was very done, it just did not look, it didn't have that dark, that doneness. It didn't look, to me it just didn't seem proper. And what happened was I did not let it get that Maillard effect that happens when you turn the heat up. And it only happens when between, like, say, I want to say 330, 50 degrees or something like that. Between that and 375, that's we want to maybe take anything that you're slow braising, that you want to get some caramelization going on the top of it, some browning or whatever. You want to take it and you want to go to you put it in the oven at 375 or something like that, or even 400 is what I did, for about another 25 minutes, and then you'll get the effect that you're looking for. But the only effect that really did was made my guests have to wait about 20 or so minutes. Fortunately, I was serving in courses. We had a Caesar salad course and with bread, and then we had a pasta. We had a Caesar salad course, and we had a pasta course, and then I served the main meal. So this is ready to turn. I am using metal tongs because the oil is very hot, but I'm being very careful not to try to scrape the bottom of this pan. But I'm going to pause the video while I turn these so I can really kind of work at what I'm doing with the less distraction. Okay, a much better, lighter color to the chicken, but I'm going to cover it and check in on it every couple of minutes. I never really, when I'm frying like this, I never really leave. I never really go that far away. Fortunately, my kitchen is an open kitchen that opens into my living and dining area, so I can, always remain by it. Okay, I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so we are here at the second turn, and we're probably about 3 or 4 minutes out from being done, but we can see we've got a lighter color on the finish. And basically, what I want to do is, just talk about the fine line it is between getting this really crispy chicken, and then if the temperature's too hot, then what happens is we get a darker chicken. But there's also a lot of green herbs in this that are it's gonna come through also. So yeah, but this is a very crispy, crunchy, thick, crispy chicken. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm taking a break from my keto. I think I've talked about that. I've been doing a very strict keto on and off again for a while, and I'm kind of taking a break from that. Probably at least it's going to go on for about a month. I'm just kind of going to relax from it, take a few moments to enjoy some of the foods that I enjoy, but still do self-control and intermittent fasting and other dieting tips in conjunction with the healthier diet, so I can enjoy some of these things like fried foods and things like that, because I love frying chicken. I find it meditative, and I'm very Southern, and there's so many different ways to do it. You can have this one recipe that you go with, or you can play around with lots of things. It's very flexible. There are some things about not overcrowding, not more than three for pieces of this size. Wouldn't want to do more than three pieces. Because we want room to maneuver the chicken as we turn them. But yeah, just there's some general guidelines for frying chicken, but the recipes themselves completely flexible. Like maybe the oil was a little bit on the not as hot as it needed to be when I first put it in, and we ended up getting some separation in the crust. But some of this has to do with the fact that the skin also is shrinking as it cooks and it's pulling away, so some of the chicken's being exposed there. Okay, here we go, and quite crispy, quite ready to go to the drain. To drain, not down the drain, but to drain on my napkins over here. Actually, what it is, a series of paper plates and coffee filters. I find that sometimes paper napkins or paper towels or whatever will cling, and these things cling a lot less. I have added a little bit more oil, some fresh oil, while the temperature was a little bit lower. And now I want to go ahead and turn it back up and bring it back up to temperature, but adding a little fresh oil in between the occasional fry. I'll probably do that about 2 more times. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I'll measure it out. But the reason I do that is because cooking oil, you do lose some liquid content. I don't know if it's the fact that it cooks and gets absorbed into the crispiness. I don't know if any, because it's typically not water soluble. It's weird that oil will be a liquid and not be water soluble. I don't understand the physics behind that, but I'm certain there must be some sort of liquid content in there that escapes through the steam, because that happens even if you were to do it. That would, yeah, so I don't know. But water, the universal solvent, maybe it's just that it's not the only base for liquid. I need to look into that. I've always, water, if it's liquid, it must be water based. Really? Okay. Oil, how much H2O, how much water is in oil? Or whatever, just crude oil, I don't know. I'm from Louisiana. One of the reasons why I wasn't going to really work out in the military when I joined is because they sent me from Louisiana all the way to Virginia, basically, so that I could learn about oil. It's like I could have done that back home. And what is this stupid? This isn't what I want to do with my life. If I wanted to do this with my life, I just would have stayed in Louisiana. That was way back in like 1990, 89, 90, go figure. Actually, it was way back in 90 and the very early part of, it was the very end of 1990. Okay, so about to add my third batch of chicken. Now I'm going to do 2 legs, 1 thigh. When you finish your frying and you drain off your oil, you can save your pan drippings. The flour that collects to the bottom and browns makes a wonderful, wonderful roux. And I've known people to collect that and save it. I've done that. If I wanted a gravy, makes a wonderful roux for a good starter in your gravy, because it is oil and flour that's seasoned. Okay, this has got to go for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Larger pieces, maybe a little bit longer. But what I do is I cue up some music, and a good radio play length song is about 4.5 minutes. Kind of lets me keep track of. Sometimes I put it in, then I'll start the song and whatever, and then when my cool little nifty song is over with, then it's time to come over and turn the chicken. You know, it can help. It'd be a fun way of keeping track of time. You can always use, you know, alarms in your kitchen to help you keep track of. You can, I don't know, use an egg timer a couple of times over or whatever. The good thing about, main thing about chicken like this is that you do want to come over every few minutes and you want to turn it and you want to check that temperature. And it's a fun way to get into the kitchen and be left the hell alone, say if you're, because I've taken care of a lot of families in my life. Like I've been the person, I've been the Uncle Charlie figure, you know, and a good way to get away and have some peace to yourself anytime you want peace for yourself is to get into a kitchen and start start cooking or start washing some dishes or something like that or whatever, you know. And just, you know, of course, I remember being a little kid, and we used to love to watch my mother whenever she was cooking. We'd want to get right up at the oven. I don't recommend that, but we did. We would get our chair, and we'd be like right on top of the stove. And I cannot tell you how many times that we would get like a pop, when the grease would pop and come out of the pan or something. And went, you know. So I'd recommend watching from a distance. Safety. So stove and kitchen safety. A word on that. You saw me earlier in some other videos that I'm doing, and I put together, I used a lot of towels. I do a lot of cleaning as I go, and I use a lot of towels, even when I clean off this lid and everything. Any towels that I use, especially when handling like raw meat products, eggs, chicken, anything like that, I want to wash those separately. If I use any sponges, you know, any of those, you know, that you get them from, next to the laundry detergent, those sponges with the scouring on the other side, anything like that. If I used anything like that, then what I would want to do is I would want to dispose of it immediately, because I'm not taking a risk. You know, I know there are some people that's like, no, you can use antibacterial soap and you can like run them in your dishwasher and clean them. I am not a big fan of that. So I will dispose of anything that I cannot clean properly, then I get rid of and I throw out, you know. So, you know. Okay, so let's see if I can't wait another about minute or so and then give these their first turn, and we'll see kind of what's going on with them. First turn, these three are looking beautiful. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video now because it's going to be quite a while before I'm ready to taste it. But yeah, so you know, think about chicken. Why I do so many different variations of recipes. Whenever I do chicken for my channel, fried chicken or something like that, it's because I want to show different ways that something can be accomplished. You know, sometimes maybe you don't have a pantry full of herbs. And so maybe you just have a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of garlic or something like that. Maybe you don't have what you need for the egg wash. Then you could just like coat your chicken, put it in the flour or whatever, and then you know, let it rest until it clings, and then fry it. Or maybe sometimes what you have is you have self-rising flour. In that case, you could certainly get away with using a lot less flour than what I'm using to get a really, really thick, crispy crust on this chicken, because it, you know, self-rising flour puffs up a lot more. You know, there's different ways, and I've done chicken a few times on my channel, a few different ways, frying, and I don't know. I don't have a specific recipe. I normally look at what I have in the kitchen, and then I work at what's going to be best for what I have. Ultimately, frequent turning of the chicken, and yeah, you know, being conscious of the temperature, being aware of it, that you need to increase it, turn it up and down as you monitor how your frying is going. With that, Let's go outside. I just wanted to close with a beautiful view of the city. As I say to you, love and light. God bless. God bless and good night.